Okay. All right. So it's not just about what we do today, right? It's going to really change and impact our lives. It's about what we do every single day, right? And so it's creating those daily habits that'll really create the change in your headaches, in your neck pain, your low back and hips, which is why we're here. So I'm going to show you what I do in bed every morning before I get up, and it totally changed all of that for me. Because when I had my firstborn, he gave me sciatica, and when I had my secondborn, he gave me headaches. So aren't children so delightful? But by doing this simple 5 stretches every morning before I get out of bed, I don't have those problems anymore. In spite of all the yoga I was doing, it's really these 5 stretches that changed my life, okay? So if you remember nothing else, do this. But if you don't do it, it won't work, right? Okay, so you want to have at least a hand's width, maybe more, honestly, because of your flexibility, away from the wall. Okay? So I'm going to go a little bit more than a hand's width. And if you feel that you are less flexible, go a whole foot. You know?
Less flexible further.
Yeah, away from the wall.
Maybe like 2 feet. Like at this end of the mountain.
You do need to be able to reach the wall. All right, so everyone sit Indian style, crisscross applesauce, easy pose, whatever your preferred terminology is. And just walk your hands forward and down. Okay, so right here you begin to feel your sits bones lift up off the ground. So what you want to do is push through the heel of your hands to ground down through those sits bones. Roll your shoulders out like we do in down dog. So what that means is this eye of the elbow where you get your blood drawn, you want that to point up. And what that does is roll your shoulders out, and it creates more space in between the shoulder blades to alleviate the pressure on your neck. Now from here, begin to try to press your head in between your arms and melt your armpits down. So your armpit is the center of your entire shoulder. You don't think about it, but it really is. So the more you melt the armpits, the more it's going to pull from the base of your skull down that occipital ridge and through your backside. Yeah, and it's okay if you're not very far right now. The more you do this, if you do it every day, guess what? You'll get better at it.
Where are we supposed to feel this?
Okay, so if you can put your forehead on the mat, put your forehead on the mat. Okay? Now melt your armpits. So the place that you're supposed to feel this is from the base of your skull, down your neck, into the space between the shoulder blades and between those rhomboids, and all the way into your low back and hips. There's also a stretch that happens through the quads, right? Now the quads, remember how we were talking about your femur bone jetting forward? Guess what's pulling on that? The quad. So if we stretch your quad, it's going to help with that. So this is an overall body stretch. Go ahead and walk your hands up. Now, when I do this in the morning, I stay in that until I feel nothing. I stay in it. And when you first start, that's going to take a while. I give myself at least 15 minutes of getting up earlier to do these stretches. Now you're thinking, I don't want to get up 15 minutes early. I'll tell you the secret to getting up earlier. My guru taught me, it's awesome. Every day, get up 1 minute earlier. And if you do that for 30 days, you'll be getting up 30 minutes earlier. And you literally only did it 1 minute at a time. It seems a lot less tumultuous if you do it 1 minute at a time. All right, so you may need your block to do this next part. In bed, you can have pillows or fluffy blankets, you know, or for me, I don't need it anymore because I do this every day, right? So just go ahead and switch your ankles. And when you switch the ankles, you may notice more pressure on one knee. The more you do it, the less you will feel that. It will go away. It will also help with your knees, right? So from here, we're going to come into thread the needle arms. Bring your left palm to face up. Slide that left hand in front of the right knee and then fold again. As you do, I want you to drop your left shoulder down away from your ear and then press your right armpit down. So remember how I was talking about you might need a block here. If your forehead doesn't hit the mat, you may want to use a block. Because I want you to be able to relax your neck, your shoulders, everything as much as possible. The beauty in this, if you're like me, I don't like to get up quickly. I like to just slowly embrace the day. And if you are stretching, you're slowly embracing the day. You're taking time to wake up. You get your ritual on, and it makes the day so much more enjoyable if you had just a little bit of time for you before you have time for everyone else. All right, guys, go ahead and bring it up. Let's set up for the other side. Of course, when you're in bed, you can hang out as long as you want. And that's the key. Hang out as long as you want. Right palm will face up. Bring that right arm to the left. Drop your right shoulder away from your ear. You want to push into the deltoid. So that's that muscle at the top of your arm on the right-hand side. And then itsy bitsy spider, crawl that left hand away from you and press your left armpit down. You may feel this through the deltoids, through the rhomboids, into your low back hips and or quads. Yeah, if you're feeling a little binding underneath the bra strap, that's your diaphragm. It's just cramping, and part of that has to do with how tight our bras are. Isn't it a joy to be a woman? But in the morning when you wake up in bed, you don't have to have a bra. So hopefully that won't be a problem. Although some women do. Each to their own, that's all good. Go ahead and bring it up. Take your time. Don't rush. You feel that melt from the head. Love that. Okay, so this is where it gets tricky. This is where it gets a little bit harder, right? So most of us have a headboard or a wall in our beds, right? So here we're using the wall as the example. So what we don't think about is when we sleep atypically, say, in a fetal position, right? Your pecs get tight because they're pulling you forward and down. So I had an extreme experience with this with my neck and my head. A good friend of mine, we switched out yoga lessons for massage. She gave me a 2-hour massage, but all of it was on my back side. The next day, I woke up with a horrible headache. Why? Because whatever's happening on your back is happening on your front. And so since she did nothing for my pecs when I slept, it just jerked me forward and down, which means I had to use all the muscles back here to bring me upright, and it was extreme pressure. So the opening of your chest is just as important as opening up the backside. So this is where this comes in. Also, we'll be doing a twist. So Robbie was talking about low back, neck and shoulder are opposite. The way that we drive into this is to twist, okay? So everyone twist to your right. And you want to take your hand, think of a rainbow. Take your right hand to the wall. If you want to look at me first, you can. And you're going to itsy bitsy spider, walk your hand to the other side of the rainbow. Yeah, and so this is where I was talking about the distance between you and the wall. If you can only half-mass it, you may want to scoot forward a little bit. Obviously, you still need to be able to reach the wall, but come as far to the other side of the rainbow as you can. Feel your body want to lean forward. Sit as upright as you can. Drop that right shoulder down. Do you feel that deep stretch through your pectoral muscle on the right-hand side? Do you feel it begin to pinch into the rhomboid on the right-hand side? So we think, oh, pinching is bad. But when you get a massage, they're squeezing into your muscles. Guess what we're doing right now? We're squeezing into that rhomboid, and we're telling it, get rid of that tension. Okay, so this one is where I usually sit the longest in bed because it's the most intense. Now, look over your left shoulder. Tip your chin down. You feel how it lights up the neck and that right shoulder a little bit more to get more into the base of the skull. So you get just a little bit more. Inhale, bring your head back to center. Slowly, be careful with yourself. Itsy bitsy spider. Walk your hand back to the other side of the rainbow. And take a breath. Yeah. All those shoulders, do you feel the difference between the sides? Not a lot of movement, but a lot is happening. I love it. All right.